Julia, I think you filled this out when, like when we didn't have everyone's data, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And so as we got more, I added some things.
Okay.
And so one of the things I added was that, like in the struggle, someone noted that question number 3 had the lowest score with 76% accuracy. And I think in that same vein, the standard compared to two-digit numbers based on meanings of the tens and ones digits, recording the results of comparisons with the symbols greater, equal, less than. And that had the lowest percentage of mastery at 67%. And so I definitely think there's like those are struggles that we can dig into. So looking at the interim, the unit that you have there, do we know enough to take action here?
Here's the process thing. It would be really helpful to have seen the unit sooner too. So, and it's something that we just don't have a good system for right now for any other reason. But maybe now's a good time to create a good system for like finalized unit plans all going to one centralized place, so that we have access when we're analyzing.
You're writing that down, guys?
What's that?
Are you writing that down?
Yes. What other, like, what questions do you guys have about either one of those struggles, or what information would be helpful to know more?
Was this a teacher-created assessment?
This was an assessment created by Hannah and Erica, for the most part.
Why do you ask?
I was just asking out of curiosity.
Okay.
Whether
Well,
it came from
and there's a good reason to ask, though, I think.
I think so too, because I think going off of your comment, the rigor of it, I'm not sure, I don't really have a lot of background knowledge with first grade math, but it seems like the rigor could have been a little bit higher on this assessment.
What makes you say that?
That's not that. That's good.
Let me think through it a little bit more.
Would it also be helpful to, since Marielle has started us on this train, would it be helpful to see the Eureka assessments that you sent earlier?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I gathered some,
I'll forward them.
there's not sort of like an exact, like alignment, like somebody gathered some potentially like relevant Eureka topic assessments from like related like concepts, like just to see how they're assessed on Eureka, so that there are like 3 or 4 that Ron has added forward, which may be helpful. And I think just like as I look at this, like this idea of like, right, it's like it's hard to assess in KN1 because there's just like so many like factors at play, and so just like how because you can't sort of expect like kids like to show a ton of work because like the work that they're like doing is like not that complex that you can like show a lot of work, and yet I think there are ways like that, like assessments obviously like they can be like more or less rigorous.
One way, I remember from looking at the kindergarten benchmark that for the number 6, where it gives, shows the pictures along with the words. I would be interested if there was another item, maybe not replacing that item, but another item that just had the sentence and not the pictures. Because there is, I believe there's an item on the benchmark where you just say the story, you don't show pictures, and you actually ask to see if the student can do that. So if they were doing that in kindergarten, then I imagine we'd want to check again if they could do it in first grade. Is that right, or is that not? Of course, I don't know. You know,
That sounds plausible. I like looking, so if you look at the grade 1 module 1 topic C assessment, if you guys have those open yet, there are a couple of similar word problems that are similar, except they do not have pictures.
And are these questions read to them? Like, is the whole class doing it at the same time? Or are they expected to read the questions themselves?
No, the questions are read to them. And some of these, if you look at the unit in 1B, some of the questions from the Eureka assessments, they're focused on in 1B of the unit. So I'm also interested, like, from this, like, one of my action steps is to talk to Hannah about what those questions look like, in the end of module, the end of unit assessment, so that they match the rigor of these assessments. So I wasn't surprised to not see those kind of questions in this assessment. So like the questions like, where the total is missing in and there's like one other unknown.
Yeah, yeah, like that's what they're doing on October 7th, for example.
And then even some of the more work with comparing numbers comes up more later.
Right, so there's what is the content, right? And how rigorous is the content, which maybe we feel like it is like going like to build on through the rest of the unit. And then there's the rigor that we're like assessing that content at, which maybe we don't feel as good about.
Right.
Yep. But there may be other, as we compare assessments, are there other like places where like the content is similar, like to what's in Eureka, but how it's assessed feels not as rigorous on this assessment?
I know they're gonna start working with more comparing the numbers, but on the Eureka topic B, topic assessment, number 2, it says 74 is greater than what number, and they have to be able to identify the comparison there as opposed to like filling in the symbol. So that's something that is different between the assessment and the topic assessment.
Which one was that, Mario?
Number 2,
Module
topic
4,
B.
topic B.
And then I think is that the one where they're filling in all the ones that apply?
It's like 3.
Yeah. And I saw a similar one on module 1, topic B. Any sorry about that? The last one, like select 2 correct number sentences. So just that idea of like, there's not just one right answer, and you need to know how to answer this in multiple ways. Like, seems more rigorous.
And even the different ways of comparing the numbers is still on module 4, topic B, number 3, selecting 2 correct answers. Some of them are in written form with an answer like y. Y is 48 less than 65, and then also identifying the symbol that matches.
And to be honest, I mean, like just in my own like perspective, like that question seems unduly like rigorous for like a first grader. The fact you have to read that out loud, like and the kid has to be able to hold on to that kind of like language orally. Like I'm much more like number 2, like where the kids sort of have to like it's more open ended, right? Like where you have to pick which number, like her numbers. It is correct, but like it's not like language heavy in the same way.
And you're talking about number 2 on grade 1, module 4, topic B, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're like, I just can't imagine like reading like answer choice like D and E to kids, and then being able to like hold on to what that is telling them. Like just like those things, like all like the variability like you're adding in there, like I'm not sure on what like you're learning about kids and their understanding, other than it's a lot to remember.
There'd also be a lot of variability in how you read that. You know,
Mhm.
if you read it
Mhm.
exactly as is, it would be different than if you said, is 74 greater than 49? Is 74 greater than 58? Is 74 greater than 73? You know, you could read it to make it so they would have to hold less in their head.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that
Mhm.
makes it less rigorous or, yeah, there's a lot of it that's just the assessments, just how
Yeah.
it's